Welcome to the first episode of Michigan Tech's Husky Hour. In this episode of Husky Hour, a panel of guests provides a plethora of options for getting out and exploring the Keweenaw. Enjoy!
All right, so I'm Dana Browning, and I'm here from the Center for Student Mental Health and Wellbeing, and I'm here with my intern Hannah Bershing, who is going to help facilitate our conversation on exploring the Keweenaw. Husky Hour is all about adding balance to students' lives and giving students kind of extra awesome things to do, extra suggestions, extra tips and stuff. And I think this is a great way to start off the semester by talking about all the awesome things to do here. So Hannah, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Hannah. I work for Dana as a student intern right now for the Wellness Center. I am kind of sort of a fourth year at Tech, and I'm going for psychology. I don't know how you say 3 semesters left, so we're just saying kind of sort of senior.
I'm Kurt Eaglehoff. I'm also a senior mechanical engineering student here at Michigan Tech. I am currently on the senior staff at the Outdoor Adventure Program and the lead bike mechanic there.
My name is Sarah. I am a fourth year mechanical engineering major here at Tech. I'm also the president of our Outdoor Adventure crew.
My name is Erica Vaya, and I'm a geosciences research scientist at the Great Lakes Research Center. And also I currently support the University Indigenous Community Partnership Program.
Howdy everybody, my name is Stephen Stelly. I'm a PhD student in integrative physiology here at Michigan Tech, starting my 3rd year.
My name is Brad Barnett, and I'm the executive director of the Keweenaw Convention and Visitors Bureau.
John?
So I'm probably the grayest member of the panel. Maybe I'm the only one with gray. I've been here in the Keweenaw since 1982 when I transferred here from Lake Superior State College at that time.
So I wanted to advertise some of the areas that are really close to campus, so students who don't have the ability to drive somewhere can get out and, get there within a few minutes. Feel free to chime in whenever. Do you have any good hiking or biking spots that are close to campus for students to get to?
Yes, actually. This summer, one of the roles I got to play was as a trail builder up at Michigan Tech's own trailhead. We have a trail system as well as it's kind of joined with NARA's trail system as well. That has a great selection of single track and 2 track for people of all sort of riding skills or exposure. We also offer bike rental. So if people are looking to get out and ride and they don't have a bike or they don't feel comfortable going out on the bike that they currently have, we offer 2-hour rental for students for $10 and a daily rental of $25. Yeah, tech trails, there's a whole lot of stuff. We have a lot of great technical trails. There's one trail in particular, time trial. We put a lot of work into the wooden features and stuff like that on that trail. And then we also have some flow trails and dirt jumps, whatever you're feeling. There's a lot of option at the tech trailhead. And then there's also a lot of great sort of entry-level single track. That's a great way to kind of get into mountain biking as a sport. I have to put the plug in for our tech trails, which are located right up past the Gates Tennis Center, sort of by Sherman Field across the road there. There's the Nordic Waxing Center. That is actually the Outdoor Adventure Program. That's where you can go rent gear, whether it's a bike or sleeping bag or a boat. All of that stuff we rent up at that location. And that's where the trailhead is for those Michigan Tech trails.
Yeah, I'll second Kurt's comments on the tech trails. My 9-year-old just started cutting her teeth in mountain biking this year, and we took her to the tech trails and she loved it. I can't ride a bike to save my soul, but I even had a good time. But in terms of like hiking and stuff, a couple places I would recommend close to home. One, might not be the outdoor experience you're looking for, but the city of Houghton's Waterfront Trail is really cool. It's kind of like an arts trail. It takes you right downtown, right along the canal. You get to see some local art along the way, and then it punches you down to the Chutes and Ladders Park. So it's a nice easy path for people who may not looking for like a lot of elevation or mosquitoes, but just want to get out and stretch their legs. So I would definitely check that out. And then another trail system that's kind of close, but a little bit outside of town is the Pilgrim Community Forest. It's not super popular because people don't know about it, and it's a little tricky to find, but it's governed, I guess, by the Keweenaw Land Trust, and it's just beautiful. Rolling trails. You might not run into anybody the entire time you're there. It's like 300 acres of wild land rolling. It's a down and back trail system, so you walk for about 3 miles and you make your way back, but good fishing there too. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a solo journey, just right outside of town, just south of Houghton, it's great to check out.
Yeah, the tech trail is a really great place to get started. Another trail system is Turning Rapids, which is another spot for good single track and for fat tires. So if you're looking for something in the wintertime, you want to get out on your bike, Turning Rapids has some options.
And those are all great places to hike too. You don't just have to bike. Like the near nature trails are for sure great for just walking around and getting to see the sights.
Yeah, that's one of the things I saw in the chat too. That was a great point. Was the fact that the Tech Trailhead is not just a mountain biking destination too. There's a lot of trails you can hike, as well as in the wintertime, it's a fantastic Nordic skiing center too.
And adding on to skiing and rentals, I don't know if anybody else was already going to bring it up, but Mount Ripley, right across the canal there, offers both, and also offers hiking opportunities. It's a great place to hike in the fall, especially during colors.
So I did want to bring up, before we inevitably get the snow, where are some good places for students to go draw kayaks, or maybe just kind of learn about all of those different activities they can do on the water?
I would share that there's the Keweenaw Water Trail.
So I would chip in and say, especially if you're local in Houghton, head down to Chutes and Ladders Park, and you've got Portage Paddle Sports right there. And they are an outfitter with, smaller level kayaks. I wouldn't call them sea kayaks, but for intros, and then paddle boards. So you can head right downtown and you can rent those out for pretty affordable. So if you don't have your gear, they can set you up. But if you do have some transportation, but you still want to stay pretty close to home, going down to places like Chassell, which are about 15 minutes south of Houghton, they've got a really calm beach that you can put in at, which is a lot of fun. And then you also have access to, Portage Lake from there, and some of the wetlands areas that are really prevalent, especially around the mouth of the Sturgeon River.
Yeah, the outdoor adventure program also does offer kayak and canoe rental. It's $20 a day. Comes as a whole package as well. So the $20 gets you a life jacket or a PFD, and paddle and the boat itself. All of that stuff, just to make sure you have everything to go out there safely. So we also will have the ability to help strap or load boats on cars if people don't necessarily have the equipment to do that. We have blocks and stuff like that we can use.
Another subject I wanted to touch on before we get snow is beaches. I feel like we have a billion up here and there's almost too many to find. So does anybody have some secret spots they want to share?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, the Keweenaw has so many different beaches, whether it's Lake Superior beaches or inland lakes. I found out that was a novel term, inland lakes, the other day. But close to home again. I mean, you've got Chutes and Ladders has a little beachhead that you can go check out if you don't have transportation. The city of Hancock has their own beachfront that you can go check out as well. So both of them are really easy to access. But personal preference, White City Beach is a really cool spot. It's on the east side of the Portage Lake, but it's such a cool sandy beach area. Definitely worth checking out. But my personal favorite is Pedigree Beach up south of the harbor. That's probably the most beautiful spot in the Keweenaw, according to my opinion. It feels like you're in the Caribbean and you're a stone's throw away from Mount Bohemia. So it's beautiful and sandy beach, and there's rarely anybody else there. So highly recommend it.
I'll throw in another kid one, as somebody with young kids, Misery Bay is a really great spot because it's shallow for so long. Like, it's great over the 4th of July because you can basically just sit in the water and everybody's out there and you don't have to worry so much about deepness and undertow and all that.
I just wanted to have like a general question of where is your favorite place to go, whether it be Copper Harbor, Eagle River, Eagle Harbor, anywhere.
So now you can't, each community is so unique. I mean, there's almost no way to choose one over the other. It just depends on what sort of experience you're looking for. You know, Eagle Harbor, I mean, we're talking about beaches. I mean, they have a spectacular beach, especially for kids. And you've got the lighthouse in the background. It's beautiful. Copper Harbor, if you haven't been there, I think the only way to describe it is it's like the Pacific Northwest and the Midwest. I mean, it's such a unique place. People come across the country to go check out Copper Harbor on a regular basis. If you're interested in history, Calumet's the place to be. I mean, we've got a National Historic Park right there. And you can travel across the Keweenaw exploring different spots if you're really interested in the historical elements of the Keweenaw.
Yeah, another thing, one of my favorite things to do in the wintertime, which I think also is another, just the wintertime in general is another thing that kind of sets the Copper Country apart from a lot of the country, is just the fact that we still get some snow at all is incredible. You can hike, you can do whatever you'd like if that's something that you're comfortable with, and there's a lot of great spots to ski.
Yeah, just a couple points there on Mount Bohemia. It was recently, I don't know if it was 2019 or 2018, voted the #1 downhill ski resort by USA Today in North America, right? So that's in our backyard. That's pretty awesome, right? So, you know, the important thing to understand is when you're going to Bohemia, you know, it's not a groomed, you know, place. It's not like Ripley to where it's nice and smooth and pristine conditions. It is backcountry skiing, but with that, I mean, it's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful sites easily in the Upper Peninsula.
One of Outdoor Venture Crew's favorite spots, kind of speaking of mountains in the Keweenaw Peninsula, it kind of goes by a few different names, but like Mount Baldy or Mount Lookout or the Nicole Blue Memorial Trailhead's probably one of our favorite fall hikes because you can see for quite a ways in all directions and it's really pretty with the fall colors.
So I wanted to I invited another guest, Margaret Hansen, who is a local hobby farmer. She wanted me to give a plug for all the local farming in our area and all of the amazing food that we have and can grow. The Calumet Farmers Market is one of my favorite places. It's like the perfect farmers market because it's just everything I need and it's only that stuff and it's great.
Put in my recommendation too for the Keweenaw Co-op in Hancock. That's where I've been shopping for the past year at least, ever since I kind of got to know about it more and more, and it's a really excellent place to shop. I found that there's kind of a misconception that follows sustainably sourced foods with it being expensive, and I actually find that compared to when I've shopped at Kanoe in Houghton, I usually spend around $20 to $30 less every 2 weeks on groceries when I shop at the co-op.
One thing I wanted to touch on briefly is the history of the Keweenaw and the Upper Peninsula. Are there any great places for students to go and learn that might be cheaper for them, affordable?
Of course, there's the Keweenaw heritage sites that are, you know, our park here is a little different. It's not the gated, you go in and you go through and out you go. We're got these smatterings of really interesting heritage sites throughout the peninsula into Ontonagon and into Bariga.
There are a couple of those heritage sites, I mean, really close to home for folks on campus. One is the A.E. Seaman Mineral Museum, which is actually the state of Michigan's mineral museum. Even if you're not like super interested in geology, sorry, Erica, like I find myself every time I go spending a couple hours there. It's the interpretation there is spectacular. The displays there are really interesting. So I would highly recommend you go check that out. That's right there behind like the football field on Tech's campus. And then there's also the Carnegie Museum that's in downtown Houghton. And so it's a great place to stop and learn a little bit about the industrial heritage of the area there. It's a small museum, but again, their interpretation is really strong.
My question is going to be, if you have one day to show somebody, a guest to the Keweenaw, one thing, what's the one thing that you're going to take them to? I know this is like the meanest question I can, but pick something for this weekend, perhaps.
Go to Brockway Mountain. I mean, and the reason why I picked that, I mean, one, of course, the epic views that you're going to get up there. I did a little project with Erica Vi about the seasonal hawk migration that happens every spring. I mean, I learned so much about that recently. It's such a really unique site, but it's really accessible too.
I was going to suggest Brockway Mountain as well, just for that exact same reason, that it's such a spectacular vista. And but Horseshoe Harbor is another really spectacular place to visit here in the harbor. So everyone's talking about the Fitz, but I'm going to plug the Harbor House. So you go to Horseshoe Harbor and then have a bite to eat at Harbor House here in Copper Harbor.
My suggestion, and this would be something more intense in terms of more difficult to access, whether you want to go on foot or a very, very intense drive, but is High Rock Bay at the end of the peninsula. The most intense drive I've ever been on in my life. So definitely want to make sure you have a good vehicle for it, 4-wheel drive and high clearance and everything. But amazing out there, just getting at the end and seeing Lake Superior. I took my son out there and our dog, and it was just, this was really something else. And just,
I'm gonna have to go a little different. All the other spots are really excellent spots to visit for sure. I think I would head to the North Country Trail, the NCT, and I would start at Sturgeon River Falls. It's a really beautiful spot. It's a waterfall that really doesn't get enough credit. It's kind of off of Baraga Plains Road, out past Baraga, and it's a really beautiful spot. The falls, there's a rock in the center that you can sit in the center, basically the center of the waterfall, with the water flowing around you, and you can just sit there and just kind of think for hours. It's a really beautiful spot.
Mine's kind of similar to Kurt, because the NCT also goes through the Porcupine Mountains, and I feel like that's a good spot for like views, beaches, and like more intensive backpacking hikes.
We live in an area that we have low light pollution, so to be able to experience the northern lights here, being able to get up to the North Shore particularly during the winter time is amazing. So that's a great experience too.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists who came. I think we have just a plethora of resources that we gathered and things that I had never heard of before. So, I think we could probably have a weekly series on what to do in the Keweenaw, because there's so much here.
Husky Hour is brought to you by the Center for Student Mental Health and Well-Being. Visit mtu.edu/well-being for more information about programs, events, and workshops. Thanks for listening.